This is Carol Roy live at VMworld. I am joined by Parmeet Chaddha, the EVP of Engineering at Panologic. How are you, Parmeet?
Real good, thank you.
Thanks so much for being here with us today. Give us a little bit of an overview on Pano. Who is Panologic?
Panologic provides a desktop virtualization solution which is really purpose-built for VDI. And the key uniqueness of our solution is that we deliver a zero endpoint or a zero client solution as opposed to a thin client or a traditional desktop. And we also have the backend management layer which actually services brokers and provides the virtual desktop to end users through this thin client or a zero client.
So what makes Panologic different than the existing VDI solutions that we've heard about?
So if you really look at the landscape overall for the VDI solutions, you obviously have providers who are offering some sort of VDI client running on traditional desktop or running on thin clients. But each of these solutions, while they centralize some of the compute cycles involved in a desktop infrastructure, still leave a lot of those cycles actually out in the network or on the endpoints. With Pano, you truly move 100% of your compute cycles back into the data center because our endpoint is truly a zero client, which means it has no processing, it has no operating system, no drivers, no patching to do on the endpoint. And the net result of having this zero endpoint is that you really don't have to worry about any kind of management burden whatsoever on your endpoints, and all of the management is actually centralized, truly centralized in the back end. And as a result of that, obviously, you get a pretty significant TCO benefit, particularly on the OpEx side of the equation.
So who would best benefit from a zero client virtualization?
So we are seeing actually a lot of traction in several sectors of the mid-market areas such as healthcare institutions, education institutions, a lot of success in the government sector. Any area where you have knowledge worker, task workers, and IT is really looking to manage all of the desktop infrastructure by centralizing it is the area where we are finding a lot of traction. Obviously, one of the other key benefits that our zero endpoint provides is a very secure solution as well. Since in the endpoint, we really have no data, no software, nothing to install, nothing to manage. As a result of that, the endpoint becomes very, very disposable. And as a result of that, it's a much more secure VDI architecture than perhaps some of the other solutions in the market.
So let's touch on the cloud computing aspect, because cloud's obviously a hot topic here at VMworld. How do you see cloud computing affecting VDI?
You mean what's the silver lining in the cloud?
Sure, we'll look for that.
Well, perhaps VDI might actually be that silver lining. If you think about how cloud computing is evolving, what is it all about? It's really at the end of the day about on-demand services to the end users. Yeah. And these end users are consuming lots of applications which were traditional and gradually moving into the cloud. And SaaS is sort of one model which demonstrates that. Similarly, you have infrastructure, which is getting virtualized and moving into the cloud and is being delivered as a service, whether it's storage, backup, and so on. And we believe in the future, VDI, or desktop for that matter, could actually be delivered as a service, and that's where the cloud starts to become very relevant. And the uniqueness of Pano's current solution and architecture, where we do have this truly zero endpoint, actually lends very well to that model, where our endpoint will just simply plug into the cloud at some point in the future and is automatically discovered to deliver the virtual desktop in a secure fashion to the end users. So there is really nothing that's needed in terms of endpoint management, which actually lends very well to the promise of the cloud. So we see that very synergistic, but it's in the future.
So where can the folks who are lucky enough to be here find you guys on the VMworld floor?
Well, we are at booth 2315. Look forward to seeing you folks at our booth, and you guys can learn more about the unique solution from Pano.
Parmeet, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Carol.